We are talking today about one of my favorite controversial topics, which is vaccinating. I've talked about this on the podcast before. If you are maybe new here or you missed that episode, I talked about what we're doing, like our decision for not vaccinating Madison. That's in another episode I'll put below. I link some book recommendations and all of that. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, I'll put that below. But today I got a couple questions about this in the podcast Q&A. If you didn't know, you could submit a question to get answered on the show. And someone also DM'd me about this. And I was like, okay, this is a good topic for conversation. And it's really about how I trusted my intuition to not vaccinate Madison, which is extremely hard to do in today's day and age because there's so much polarizing noise about this and fear instilled in us. And as mothers, as parents, all we want to do is protect our kids. We don't want to fuck them up. We want to keep them safe. We want to do what's best for them. And for this specific topic, it's scary on both sides, right? We're scared to not vaccinate them because we hear that they'll get sick and, they won't be able to, God forbid, what if, God forbid, they get the measles, or what if they get whooping cough or whatever. And then they put that fear into you. And there's also the other layer of it, depending on where you live, they won't be able to go to school. Hey, what do we do now? And then on the other side of it, there's the fear of, well, what if I do vaccinate them? And God forbid, they get a learning disorder or something even more severe happens, or they get allergies, or, there's so many things on both sides of the spectrum. So as parents and as mothers, it's one of the hardest decisions we're going to have to make when it comes to our kids and our kids' safety and what's quote unquote right, quote unquote wrong. Now, I don't like to say things are right or wrong, but I will die on this fucking hill that I do think it is wrong to pump babies with multiple vaccines at one time in such a short period of time. I'm not saying that you should not vaccinate. That is totally your decision. I think that if you are going to, especially if you have to, depending on what your school system is and where you're living and all of that stuff, there are ways to do it in a better way. There are ways to prepare your body beforehand, to space things out, to wait till they're 2 and then do them. There's things that you can do to do it in a better way. But the schedule that they have now of literally the second they're born, they're pumping them with Hep B. And then I don't even know. Honestly don't even know how many, but it's the amount that you give a child by the time they're 2 is absolutely insane. Again, you're getting sometimes 3 different shots at once. Why? What is the point of that? Why? That is the hill I'll die on. That I do not think is correct. I think that should be illegal. You should not be able to be giving so many at one time to a baby. How could that not affect them? And what if they have a reaction? You don't even know which one it's from. You know what I mean? So anyway, going on tangents, of course, I'm really passionate about this topic, but the point is there's no right or wrong decision. But I do think that just blindly going into the schedule that is given to us now, that is totally different from when we were kids. If you look, I was born in 1989. So when you look at the vaccine schedule when we were born versus what it is now, I think it's triple the amount the kids are getting now. And I don't know for sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of the issues the kids are dealing with today that we didn't deal with has something to do with that, right? With tripling the amount of vaccines we have, with also the food supply and all the increased amount of toxins and all of that. But it's why are we not looking at that? Why are we not looking at that? We're seeing such an increase in childhood allergies. We're seeing such an increase in asthma, in autism, in learning disorders, in ADHD, and all these things. Why are we not looking at, what's different from, 35 years ago? Yeah, food supply is different. The amount of pesticides is different. Ooh, they're also getting 3 times the amount of vaccines. Let's look into that. Right? Why are we not looking into it? Well, I'll tell you why. Part of the reason is obviously this benefits the institutions. This benefits big pharma. There's a lot of money in this. Okay, there's a lot of control in this. So I wasn't planning on going on that tangent, but here we are. But anyway, so it is such a hard decision is really what we're going into, and I'm going to talk about how I'm trusting my intuition on and how you can as well. And also, this is not shaming or blaming or making you a bad parent if you did vaccinate or if you are going to. Like, that's not what this is about. It's about trusting your intuition with it and feeling really confident in it and questioning things. We're taught, especially as women, to just listen to what our doctor says, listen to what people says, be a good girl, be a good listener, don't be annoying, don't be rude, don't ask questions, just do as you're told. Okay, sit like a little good girl, cross your legs, smile, do what's right, people please, and just do what you're told. As a mother, we have to question things. We do not, like, it is up to us to protect our babies. And if you're feeling like you're unsure about vaccinating, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to, if I'm not going to, like, I'm not sure. That is normal. It is normal to question this. And we're told that we're bad for questioning it. It's like, how could we not question it? When things have changed so much over the last 30 years, when there's so much more being pumped into our babies, like when there's so many ingredients in these vaccines, how can I not question it? It's like, I think it's fucked up not to question it. You know what I mean? But we are made to be submissive. Okay. So it's very difficult to do the opposite of that and to like be louder, question. Oh, God forbid you question a male doctor. Oh shit. No, you can't do that. Oh, but you fucking can. Okay. So anyway, back to trust your intuition for the vaccine. Oh, also, I'm having an expert on the show. He was supposed to be interviewing him recently, but we had to reschedule. So I believe now we're scheduled for December. He's an expert scientist, doctor on the show who is going to be talking to us about vaccines. And he's not really on either side, right? It's like he's really talking about the science behind it. And how we can really help ourselves make this decision. So I'm so excited to have him on because I know, like for me personally, I live in New York. It's mandated to go to school to have all these vaccines. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I have no idea what the plan is. I'm hoping that maybe in the next 2 years, rules will change. Like, I don't know. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. I don't want to homeschool. I don't like the school system anyway. Like, I just don't think they're learning things they should be learning. And there's just like not enough play and all that stuff, whatever. But I'm like, I do want her to have a school experience, but I don't want her to give her the vaccine. So it's like, it's fucking hard. It's really hard to make these decisions. And we're pigeonholed. It's like, well, what are we supposed to do? Because we're given no agency over what goes in our children's bodies, which is insane. Like, how can we not have the last final say in what we put into our babies' bodies? Well, we can, but then we have consequences. Oh, they can't go to school, or oh, they can't do this, can't do that because they're not vaccinated. So it's really hard. Anyway, I'm really excited to have him on the show. But back to the question of like, I got 2 questions about this. Trust your intuition for not vaccinating, and then how did I navigate friends and family being around Madison when she was a newborn with like fear of them not getting sick and all of that? So to start with the trusting intuition for not vaccinating, to be honest, like I didn't struggle with this, but I will talk to you about how you can help strengthen your intuition around this because I just always knew like that never felt right to me. Never felt right to me to pump her as soon as she came out with Hep B or just even when she's little, it just completely was something that I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I also, when I got my certification for holistic nutrition, I took a vaccine education specialist course. So technically I was like certified as a vaccine education specialist. And so I learned a lot about it. I read a ton of books about it. We learned a lot about it. And so from doing that, I was like, oh, okay. Like this is just not something I want to be doing. So I was very solid in it. There are certain things that I get like wishy-washy in. Vaccines is not one of them because I'm just super confident in what I believe and the knowledge that I have around it. So for you, if you are struggling with this decision, gather more information. Well, there's 2 sides of this. Number one, a lot of times you know exactly what you want to do. You know what your intuition is telling you, whether it's to vaccinate or to not vaccinate. You know what your intuition is telling you. A lot of times it's not that we can't hear it. It's that we're afraid to follow it. We think it's wrong and you're looking for external validation. You're looking for me to say, no, that's the right decision. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're looking for other people to say, no, oh my God, like Mary. I don't know where that name came out, but Mary, no, don't. You're of course making the right decision. You shouldn't get vaccinated. Or you're looking for someone to be like, yes, of course, do it. You're right. You're absolutely right to get them vaccinated. Do it. You're looking for the external validation because you're not trusting yourself, because you are listening to too many opinions. You're opinion shopping. Okay, let me read this article about this. Let me read this about this. What is this person doing? What is this mom doing? What is this person doing? You're looking to see what other people are doing, and it's clouding your innate intuition and what you know to be true for you and your baby, whether that's to or to not vaccinate. That is completely your decision, okay? So not following what other people are doing, not just watching the news and reading an article and following it blindly. Whether that article is about how vaccines are bad or whether the article is about how vaccines are good, you have to check the source and follow the money. Who is funding the research? What is that is what you have to find and look back at whenever you're reading anything. Again, whether it's pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, doesn't matter what it is, or any topic. Where is the money? Who is funding this? Because that is going to let you know the validity of it, and that is going to let you know how they're spinning it to make it feel like it should be one way or another, right? You have to go back and look at that whenever you're reading anything. So follow the money, number one. But your intuition, you know what's there. If someone, say your intuition is telling you not to vaccinate, right? And you ask everybody, what do you think I should do? And all of them were like, yes, that's the right decision. That's the right decision. Would you feel more confident in it and be like, okay, awesome, yes. Okay, versus if your intuition is telling you not to vaccinate, but you're asking everybody and they're all like, no, do it. You have to vaccinate. You got to do it. You got to, it's not good for your baby, da, da, da. Would you automatically be like, okay, yep, you're right. I'm going to do it. Or would you pause and question and be like, oh, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's your intuition being like, let's look further into this. Let's keep looking at this, right? You have to get really clear and quiet and just know, like, if there were no consequences either way, if I was supported by everybody, if I wasn't going to be looked at as a bad mom, if I wasn't going to get pushback from somebody, what would my decision be without searching for external validation? That is your intuition. That is what you need to follow. Because you have an intuition for a reason. Your intuition is there because it's what's best for you and for your baby and for their soul's journey on every single parenting decision, whether it's to co-sleep, to not co-sleep, to contact nap, to not contact nap, formula, no formula, breastfeed, bottle feed. There's so many fucking decisions. Vaccine, no vaccines. Preschool, no preschool. Daycare, no daycare. There's 100 fucking decisions every single day, okay? You have an intuition as a mom for a reason, because you are meant to parent this baby. You guys are meant to be together because the decisions that you are going to make are what's best for them if you follow your intuition. If you follow your intuition, you're always going to make the right decision. Whether it turns out the way you want it to or not, it's either going to be a learning experience, a growth experience. It's meant to happen on that path. You have to trust your intuition on it. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to do it or not to do it. But what I am going to sit here and tell you is stop searching for external validation. Get really crystal clear on how you actually feel about it. And if you're wishy-washy in it, someone saying something that causes you to question yourself can only exist because a part of you questions your decision, right? There is not one thing someone can say to me to make me question my decision. Literally zero on this specific topic, because I'm not wavering on it. If there's other topics that I question, I'm like, ooh, there's something in me I need to strengthen. There's something in me I need to work on that. That's a growth opportunity for me to strengthen my confidence and in my decision making. On this topic, I'm solid. There could be 5,000 people telling me otherwise. I would not care. I would not change my mind on that. So how can you get to that place of certainty? What do you need to do to get yourself to that place? Do you need to stop talking to a bunch of people about it? Do you need to read some more books on it to feel more educated about it? Do you need to create a plan with your partner, with your doctor? Do you need to consult other doctors? What do you need to do to trust your intuition on it? And I just know the right answer is going to come. Like for me, again, Madison is 2.5. She's going to be going to she would be going UPK in 2 years. So I have less than 2 years. I have that amount of time to figure out what I'm going to be doing. I could get real freaked out and real anxious about that, but I'm just not. Because I just know right now, this is where we're at. And I'm just going to figure it out as the time comes. And I know it's going to work out in the way that it's meant to, because I'm just going to always trust my intuition on it. So that is how I would recommend you navigate this. And I will link that episode below that I did before. And you could go back and check out like the resources and the books and stuff that I recommend. Now, the next question that I got around this was, how did you navigate friends and family being around Madison when she was a newborn? I too am not vaccinating my child and wonder how to approach this. I want to socialize him, but also don't want him to get sick while his immune system is developing. Okay, so this really depends on the age of the child. There's a couple things here. I never worried about her catching, the measles, the whooping cough. Like I was never worried about that because, well, first of all, if I was going somewhere and someone was sick, I just wouldn't have her there. Like if my niece and nephew were sick, especially when she was young, like a few weeks, couple of months old, I just wouldn't bring her over there. If we're at a family gathering and someone's sick, like, okay, staying away from you, like you're not going to hold her, whatever. But if like everyone was healthy, everyone was fine, like I didn't worry about that because it's not, for me, it's not just like being exposed to things. It's about how strong your system is in defending it. Obviously, when they're a few weeks old, their immune system is really like weak, right? Like you said, they're developing their immune system. I believe too, when you're not vaccinating, you're actually giving your child's immune system the ability to strengthen, because every time you get vaccinated, it lowers your immune system, right? Because it's a really big stress on the body, inflammation in the body, all of that, right? So when she was really little, like a few months, whenever we would go anywhere, I would always wear her in my like Solly wrap. When she was like from 0 to 6 months, I used the Solly wrap. And then 6 months plus, I would use the MABE carrier, which I love. We'll link both of them below. That way, she was on me. She was never being like passed around like a football. Obviously, people held her, but especially when she was really little, I'd make sure they washed her hands. There was no kissing on the face. I'd be like, okay, there's no kissing. Like, we're not doing that. The only people kissing her face are me and Chris. Like my mom and stuff will kiss her cheeks or whatever. But like no fucking lip kissing, none of that shit. This like older generation, I'm like, what are you doing? Like I'll see like my grandma will going in. I'm like, no, like we're not kissing on the lips. Okay, back the fuck up. So I always wore her into places. If there were kids that were sick, I just wouldn't have her around them. Now that she's older, right? She's 2.5. If like my nephew has a cold or whatever, she'll be around him. Maybe she'll catch a little cold, but it is good for their immune system to get exposed to that stuff. Obviously, if someone had like the flu or whatever, like a really bad cough, I'm like, let's just not bring her around them. But also like, we're just washing our hands a lot before we put them in our mouth, like all those types of normal things. But it was never something that crossed my mind like, oh, she's not vaccinated, so like she can't be around other people. Just because I don't believe the vaccines are like protecting you like that. Like I think they lower your immune system. From what I've seen with like friends, kids and stuff, a lot of them who like one kid is vaccinated, one kid isn't, because like they change their mind halfway through. The one that is vaccinated will get sick more and it will last longer than the kid who's not. You know what I mean? So like that was just never something that I was worried about, but also I didn't have to bring her to daycare or do anything like that. So I would just approach it like I was never worried about her being around friends and family if they were healthy and fine. You know what I mean? If they're sick, then just don't bring them around. Unless you're like, it's unavoidable, then I would just make sure they're washing their hands. They're not touching her face. You're washing her hand or his hands, boy or girl, I don't know what it is. And then as they get a little bit older, like they are going to get sick sometimes. And it's good for their immune system to learn how to fight that off. It's really healthy for that to happen. Obviously, we hate when our kids are sick. It is the fucking worst, but it has to happen. And it's very helpful for them for that to happen. But I always just go with like, what can I control with how I'm giving her nutrition, right? I also breastfed for 2 years. So I always felt like that was like my safety blanket because there's so many immune cells that she gets from me for that. Whenever she was sick, her saliva literally, because like I breastfed her on the boob, my boob would literally, my like body would literally create the nutrient stuff she needs to help with whatever sickness she got. Me kissing her face literally had the milk create what she needed. So I always felt like it was a safety blanket. And the nutrition that I gave her with like the foods, organic foods, like no sugar, none of that. That is what is most important in my opinion. that is what's going to protect your child's immune system more than any vaccine will, in my opinion. Okay, that's my stance on it. So that's why I always felt confident in it, because I'm like, I'm giving her breast milk. I eat so well. I take care of myself. I'm giving her such healthy foods. Like, I'm giving her the best chance, her immune system, the best chance to fight anything off that she comes in contact with. Because the truth is, we come in contact with viruses and bacteria all day long. Our body is constantly fighting it off. It's not always what we're exposed to, right? It's what our bodies are able to handle and fight off on their own. But again, like if a child had a really bad cough and it sounds like whooping cough, like I'm not going to bring Madison around them, you know? But again, if your kid is in daycare or something, that's going to be a little bit harder for you to navigate. But I would just be conscious about, you know, obviously what's the policy? Are they allowed to bring kids there if they're sick? How can you know, do they separate them? Like what does that look like? I don't know, because I don't bring her to daycare, so I'm not in that world. But that's just how I feel about it. Protecting them the best that you can with the nutrition side of things, with obviously the practical things of not having them around kids that are sick. And then when they're really little, I just never had her passing around like a football. I wore her a lot. When like immediate family wanted to hold her, if I was like fine with it, had them wash their hands, do it. But I always had her close because I just felt good doing that, especially when she's a few weeks old. Like I was not the person that was like letting everybody just hold her and pass her around. She wouldn't like that anyway. She would be crying the whole time. So that's just how I approached it. I hope this was helpful for you. This is not prescriptive advice. This is not medical advice. This is just my personal experience and my personal opinion on all of it. I know this is one of the hardest decisions to navigate, especially if you're getting pushback from people around you. So do what you need to do to feel really solid in your decision. Read the books. Trust yourself, make decisions that you feel really good about. Even you asking like, how do you navigate friends and family being around Madison when she's a newborn? It's like, are you anxious about this because of things that you're hearing, or are you innately anxious? How can you regulate yourself so that you can make a decision based on intuition and based on you being regulated, not based on fear and anxiety? Because making a decision based off of fear and anxiety is not going to lead you to the place that you want to be. We have to make decisions from a regulated, grounded, intuitive place, not from a dysregulated, anxious, fearful place. You're going to get to two very different places based off of where you're making the decision from. Before you make a big decision like that, regulate yourself, get grounded, get in tune with yourself, and make a decision from that place, not from a spiraling, anxious, dysregulated, fearful place, because that's not going to lead you where you want. So hope this was helpful for you. Share this episode with a friend if you think that it was. You're doing an amazing job no matter what you decide to do. As long as you feel good about your decision, as long as it's what's in line with you and your values and your intuition, like that is what's best for you and your baby. There is no right or wrong. It's hard enough being a parent. Like, don't put that pressure on yourself to try and people please or to try and just feel like you're doing everything wrong. Like, get in tune with yourself. Do what's best for you and your baby. You're doing an amazing job. Stay tuned for that episode coming up with the expert on vaccines. I can't wait for it. And in the meantime, I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.